the young, and the restless spoilers. Welcome back to our channel. Fellow Y&R addicts, today is an incredibly heavy, dark day in the soap world, and we need to unpack the absolute madness that just went down in Genoa City. Oh my God, I am literally shaking while typing this. I cannot even process what I just watched on my screen. I mean, we all knew something bad was coming because the writing has been on the wall for weeks, but this, Nikki Newman is dead. Dead. I have been watching this show for years, and I have never, ever felt this sick to my stomach over a storyline. I'm just so angry, so heartbroken, and so utterly disgusted with Victor Newman that I do not even know where to begin. But I have to get this out because if I do not vent to people who actually get it, I am going to explode. Can we please talk about this absolute nightmare? I cannot believe they actually went through with it. I kept waiting for the soap opera miracle, like it is The Young and the Restless. Nobody really dies unless you see the body in the ground, and even then, half the time they come back with a new face or a crazy twin story. But this was so incredibly final. The brain surgery failed, and it did not just fail because of some random medical fluke or a surgical error. It failed because of the complications from the high-dose sedatives. The exact same sedatives that Victor forced her to take, he literally pumped his wife full of heavy, mind-numbing drugs to keep her docile, and it destroyed her brain's ability to survive the operation. He killed her. Victor Newman is the reason the absolute love of his life is gone, and I am screaming at my television. Wait, I am getting ahead of myself. Let us back up to how we even got to this horrific point. Remember a few weeks ago when Nikki started having those blinding, terrifying headaches? She was so scared, she literally thought she was dying. And she was right. And what did Victor do? He swooped in, playing the doting, protective husband. He acted like he was her savior. It makes me want to vomit now thinking about it. He manipulated a terrified, vulnerable woman into signing a medical power of attorney, only it was not just about her health or making sure she got the best doctors. Hidden in that dense, confusing legal jargon was a clause that transferred all of her personal shares in Newman Enterprises into a private trust. A trust that he completely controlled, and here is the sickest part of it all. Because he needed time to liquidate her assets and move all that money around, he intentionally kept her heavily sedated. He prolonged her coma. He kept her drugged out of her mind so she could not wake up, could not fight back, and could not realize he was robbing her blind. He was literally looting her estate while she was lying in that hospital bed dying. I mean, who does that? I know Victor has done some deeply messed up things in the past. Remember when he faked his own death? Or when he locked people up? Yeah, it did not work to make us hate him forever then, because he always had some twisted justification about protecting the family. But this, there is no coming back from this. He sacrificed his wife's life for corporate shares and absolute power. Okay, back to the point, because I am just so worked up. The moment Victoria found those documents, oh my God, give Amelia Heinle all the Emmys right now. The way the camera zoomed in on her face as she read the clauses, you could see the exact second her heart shattered and then instantly turned to ice. She realized that the medical power of attorney was swapped. She saw the dates on the asset transfers. She put two and two together and realized her father was draining Nikki's accounts and moving her shares while Nikki was fighting for her life in the ICU. Victoria has always been Daddy's little corporate soldier, always trying to win his approval, but seeing her realize that her father is essentially a sociopathic monster who prioritized a trust fund over her mother's breathing lungs. Chills, literal chills, all over my body. Which brings us to the funeral. I am sorry, but this was the most intense, jaw-dropping scene I have watched in a decade. The atmosphere was just suffocating. Everyone dressed in black, the dark clouds, the sheer grief radiating off the screen. And there is Victor, standing there in his custom black suit, looking solemn, probably calculating his new net worth while staring at his wife's casket. I was practically throwing things at my screen. How dare he stand there? How dare he accept condolences from the people of Genoa City like he is some grieving widower? He is the Grim Reaper in a designer suit. And then Victoria snapped. She did not even wait for the private family gathering afterward. She did not pull him into an office to yell at him behind closed doors. She did it right there in front of everyone. She marched right up to Victor, clutching those documents in her shaking hands, and she exposed him to the entire town. She publicly accused him of being an indirect murderer. She screamed that his greed and his drugs killed her mother. She laid it all out, the swap documents, the forced sedatives, the liquidated assets. I was cheering and crying at the same time. The gasps from the crowd. It was pure cinematic perfection on a daytime soap. I mean, think about the psychology of this for Victoria. She has spent her entire adult life trying to earn Victor's respect. She has compromised her own morals, ruined her own relationships, all to sit in that CEO chair and be the perfect Numenaire. But this is the line she cannot uncross. Her father murdered her mother for power. It completely shatters her entire worldview. I know some people are loving this Dark Victor era because it brings the drama, but personally I think it destroys the core of the show. Victor and Nikki were supposed to be endgame. Toxic, messy, constantly divorcing and remarrying, sure, but endgame. To have him do this, it is a massive betrayal of the fans who have invested decades into their love story. But if you thought Victoria's explosion was intense, we desperately need to talk about Nick. Oh, Nick, my poor, broken Nick. Am I the only one who is genuinely terrified for him right now? Let us not forget what Nick has been through recently. He just survived that horrific fentanyl and cocaine overdose at the abandoned gas station in Vegas. He was tortured by Matt Clark. His brain is already fragile. His sobriety is completely non-existent, and his emotional state is hanging by a thread. He was already struggling with his dark side, trying to figure out how to deal with Matt's amnesia and all that trauma. And now he finds out his father killed his mother. When Victoria dropped that bomb at the funeral, Nick completely lost whatever grip on reality he had left. The look in his eyes was not just grief. It was pure, unadulterated madness. He lunged at Victor. If people had not held him back, I swear he would have strangled his own father over that casket. And his vow, when he looked Victor dead in the eye and swore he would make him pay at any cost, that was not just empty grief talking. That was a promise from a man who has absolutely nothing left to lose. Nick is going to go completely off the rails, and honestly, I do not blame him one bit. Victor pushed him over the edge. So what happens now? Because I am telling you, the Newman Empire is completely done. It is crumbling to the ground as we speak. The trust is permanently broken. You cannot just have a board meeting and sweep CEO murders matriarch for shares under the rug. Victoria is going to go to war. Nick is going to go to war. They are going to team up and try to destroy Victor, and honestly, I hope they succeed. I want to see Victor lose everything. I want to see him sitting alone in that massive ranch with his millions, realizing it cost him his entire family. He deserves to rot in his own wealth. And what about the rest of the town? Jack Abbott looked like he was going to pass out at the funeral. Jack has loved Nikki on and off for years, and he is already dealing with his own massive crisis with Diane being kidnapped and Patty blackmailing him. Hearing that Victor basically euthanized Nikki for a stock portfolio is going to send Jack into a tailspin. The Abbott-Newman war is going to reignite like never before, and this time Victor will not have his children to protect him. He's entirely on his own. And we have to talk about Adam. You know, Adam's going to be caught in the middle of this mess. He has been babysitting Matt Clark at the ranch, trying to prove himself to Victor again. But even Adam has to look at this and think, wow, the old man is actually evil. Will Adam side with his siblings for once? Or will Victor try to buy him off with the shares he stole from Nikki? Because if Adam takes Nikki's shares, Nick will literally kill him. The potential for a full-blown Newman civil war is off the charts. And while I am devastated about Nikki, I am kind of here for the absolute chaos that is about to ensue. I am just so emotionally drained. I have been crying for an hour. Nikki Newman was the absolute heart of Genoa City. She had her flaws, sure. She was a snob. She had her drinking problems. She made terrible choices, but she loved her children fiercely, and she fought for her family. To have her go out like this, drugged, manipulated, and betrayed by the man she loved more than anything, is just so dark. It is so incredibly dark and twisted. I do not know if I can ever look at Victor Newman the same way again. I mean, are the writers actually going to send him to prison? Probably not, because he is Victor and he always slithers out of it. But he needs to suffer. He needs to suffer like we are suffering right now. Okay, I need to go drink some water and calm down before I throw my laptop out the window. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, because I am losing my mind over here.